Welcome back to Statement Piece. Today we have with us beauty TikToker, influencer on the rise, and Stratford sixth form student, Zak Heath.
Hi.
How are you doing? How's the second lockdown?
Honestly, it's difficult because our schools are shut. So I would love to be at school right now, but at the same time, it sounds crazy, but I don't mind just being in bed and just do my work from bed.
Yeah.
I would rather be at school though.
So you've been going in person since the beginning of the term.
Yeah, and then it was until I think last week that schools were shut. So yeah, and then I'm not sure how long they'll be shut for. I've got a feeling it'll be the whole year, but
yeah,
Really?
just have to wait and see. Well, they said February half term, but then they keep changing it, and I'm sure it will be September probably. But I'm not gonna jinx that.
So where are you based out of?
So I'm from the UK, from Stratford, so like an hour from London. So yeah.
Wait, that's
You're from New York, aren't you? And then LA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't Shakespeare born in Stratford upon Avon?
Yeah, I go to the school right next to where he where he went to school. So yeah, it's quite cultural area.
That's cool.
Historical area.
So do you think then he wrote all of his plays? Because I know that's a disputed fact.
What, he didn't write them all? Or...
Yeah.
I never even knew that.
Only Americans have those crazy conspiracies.
And Catherine is obsessed with like British culture. She went abroad there. I think that's what really fortified it for her.
Yeah, she told me she went to Oxford.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's like the craziest thing though about like British culture that you just like from American perspective, you just think's crazy?
I just think like the slang is so funny. Like especially because I like watch a lot of Love Island.
My dad basically grew up there. Like he moved there when he was 12. My sister and I were born there. And then we moved around a lot, which is why I don't have my accent anymore. But so we lived in Canada for a little bit, and then I went to high school and everything in America, and then went to college, and obviously I live here now. So you said that you wanted to go into fashion.
Yeah.
Do you know like what particularly? Is there a specific like medium that you would want to work in, or a specific type of fashion, or?
So right, I've always been interested in fashion since the age of 7. I was like given a book on fashion, and obviously at the age of 7 I didn't know all the different types of avenues you could go into, but I was like, that's an industry that really interests me. And like since I started my blog, I realized that I love writing and personifying fashion through like journalism, and I thought, I used to want to be a fashion designer, and I love to like create shoes and like make them, well, not make them, but design them. And yeah, but now I realize that I really enjoy the journalism side of it. And I know with the course I want to do, you don't just have to go into journalism. There's different avenues you can go in with that. But if there was one specific avenue, then it would definitely be the journalistic side. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So how did you start building your social media and your blog and specifically your TikTok?
So I've always been interested in like how I could like build my platform, and it sounds so like crazy me to say it now, but I didn't want to post because I've always had it like since I started sixth form. I was like, I'm going to try and get head boy, and in the end I did get head boy. So everything I was like scared of, like I didn't need to be scared of it, but I was like, if I post like all this makeup videos, are my school going to see it? And if they see it, have I got like a lesser chance of getting head boy? So I wish I started back, because I think I posted my first one in April, but I wish I like started and like regularly post from April, because I only started consistently posting since September, and I feel like definitely could have grown more. So yeah, I think that definitely held me back. And then obviously with my fashion blog, like because I've got so much going on, I literally don't write for it as much as I could do. But then I don't want to overwhelm myself with so much with like mocks and everything. But yeah, like so I want to build that and grow that and see where that can go as well. Because I feel like my TikTok's more fashion, and then obviously more beauty, and then my blog's obviously more fashion. So yeah, hopefully I can build those.
Sorry, what is head boy?
So head boy is like the position, so you're like the top within the school. Like the top boy
Oh.
within the school. I don't really know how to explain it. So you have
Is
like
it
head boy and
like
head
class
girl.
president?
I don't know what that is. Is that the American equivalent?
It's like it's like similar.
Do you
Yeah.
know what head boy is, Sita?
Yeah, but you have like specific like responsibilities as well. Like it's not just
Oh,
like
okay.
I don't
Yeah. So
know.
like my responsibility, I guess, is I've started a school newspaper.
Mm,
And obviously being head boy, I was able to do that. But there's other stuff as well you have to do. But I just wanted the position to like prove to myself that I could do that.
yeah.
And I'm glad that I did get that. But then I feel like it's irrelevant now. Obviously, school's being shut. So I wish I spent more time on TikTok and and grew on that instead of just waiting for like school to say, Zach, your head boy. But yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So, how do you go about your creative process for both your blog and TikTok?
So for TikTok, I feel like, well, I know that like the the posts that do very well are the ones that look professional, that like good quality of like videos and like the camera quality and the sound. So I was like, if I'm posting and I want to make this like a thing that I can pursue, I need to start from day one being professional. And obviously over time you become more and more professional, you know what to do, what not to do. But I tried to start it as professional as I could do. I didn't want to post like dancing videos that only got like 1 or 2 likes. I wanted to post like videos that will start off well. And I don't have like a huge platform now, like, but a lot of people see my videos, and I think that's the most important thing. Like I do get a lot of like traffic, and I see how many people will view it, and like to me that's amazing because I never thought that would have happened, and like I'm so grateful for that. But because I know that I started off well, I could get bigger, hopefully, touch wood, if
Yeah,
I continue to post more professional and quality content.
for sure. Well, we actually found you because Sita sent me a graph that was like rising beauty influencers to look out for, and you were one of them.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. So you're definitely doing
Thanks.
the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
How did you first get started being interested in beauty and makeup?
um, so I've been asked this question before, and like the first thing that came to my head was I remember I saw my mum applying makeup in the bathroom one time, and I thought that's interesting. And I never like looked at it again. I was just like, oh, that's fun. And then and then I used to be really interested in like drawing faces, and like obviously clothes as well. So I thought if I could like recreate that on a face, and I started off like my makeup like how, because I was influenced by people like James Charles and Manny MUA. So it wasn't the prettiest like the way the way I was doing makeup, but obviously I learned over time, and I just got more interested from like watching not just male beauty influencers, but also like obviously female beauty influencers, and just like kind of seeing like how artistic you can be. And like my makeup isn't artistic at all, it's really natural, but I still like the whole process, and I think it's really therapeutic. And I think that's definitely got me into it, and seeing where you can go, because it's like the cosmetic industry is so huge, and it's an industry that so many people obviously want to know more about, because I want to always focus on themselves and like improve like how they look. So I know it's like an industry that's going to continue and everything like that, but that also interested me as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's good that you try to push for kind of more natural, clean looks because I think a lot of guys when they think about men wearing makeup, they think it's like the really crazy
Yeah.
looks that like James Charles often does on his channel and such. But I think if men wore makeup in whatever way they wanted to, especially natural, then they would look a lot better.
Yeah, like that's the thing as well. Like I knew there's not a lot of male beauty. I don't think there's any male beauty bloggers who focus on natural makeup. Like when you
Hmm.
think of makeup, you think of girls doing it, or the stereotypical gay man with loads of makeup, drag
Right.
queen. And like even though that's great, like love that, that's not me. And I know there's millions of other men who could wear makeup, like the idea of it, but don't want to go into a store because all they see in Mac is like the campaigns with men wearing like eyelashes and mascara and like eyeshadow, and I know that can be really off-putting for men. Yeah, so I wanted to like create a platform where obviously I'm like I'm obviously gay, so I'm not like targeting like straight men, but I'm targeting like men who could be straight but want to like wear makeup and feel good about themselves. And I haven't really seen that. So I think that's like a niche of mine that I want to expand on. Yeah, James Charles the other day did like a YouTube video on guy liner. And so obviously I think like you must have seen as well on TikTok, there's a massive trend of like boys wearing skirts and like eyeliner. The barriers are obviously coming down with that, which is good to see, as like obviously more men are open to it. But there needs to be a push for more men, because I think like you can see there's a lot of discrimination towards men who want to like wear eyeliner and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what is your routine?
with skincare or just makeup?
Both.
Both. Okay, so my
Do
skincare
both, get
routine.
ready with me.
I'd actually love to do that. That's going to be a goal of mine. But so I had like when I first started my TikTok, I had so many comments about do your skincare routine, and honestly, I put it off because I didn't have one. I'm that person that just used water and called it a day. And so yeah, I've been sent a lot of skincare products recently, and I'm pretending that's my skincare routine. But honestly don't do skincare. And I've noticed recently that when I have done skincare, I've got a lot of more red patches on my face. So I don't know if I should probably stop with the skincare and just stick back to my water and flannel. But yeah, with my makeup, it's literally it's basic. But I think when I was wanting to like look at makeup for me, I was looking at how celebrity makeup artists did their makeup on clients, because I know for like cameras they put on a lot more makeup, so I wasn't like looking at how much they were putting on, but the techniques. So the techniques I love, for instance, in summer is putting on, I'm sure you must have seen it, the Chanel Cream Bronzer. I don't know if yeah, putting that on and then foundation on top. And I think that looks really pretty on the skin, especially in summer when it's really dewy. So just stuff like that. That's my main technique, I think. Yeah. Other than that, it's just really simple. I don't do eyeshadow or anything. But yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. So, what kind of stigmas do you see currently existing? Like, I know you mentioned that there's a trend going on with like men wearing skirts or eyeliner on TikTok. But why do you think there's so much hate towards men who want to do that?
I think there's hate because it's still obviously not normalized. More men are doing it, but it's not. Yeah, I think we all see it on TikTok or YouTube or something because millions of people can see that. But when you actually walk down the street, I've never seen a boy wearing a skirt. I've not seen loads of men wear eyeliner. So it's definitely not a normalized thing within society. Like I think online is a trend because it's seen as really cool. It's seen as really original. But I don't know about you, but where I live, I never see men do that. And I think obviously there's still a stigma for the boys who do that. They will have that stigma, oh, they're gay, they're really feminine, they're flamboyant, like they're not men.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of boys would be put off from that, scared of that, because that's emasculating for them. They want to be seen as like that man that society like says that they should be. But obviously now there's a lot less of that, but there is still that, especially within the older generations. Like I was sitting with my grandma the other day, and she was she was like, we were talking about homosexuality, and she was still so against it just because of how she was brought up. And like she's got dementia now, so like I've told her I'm gay in the past, but she's forgotten. So that was I didn't have like any hate from her, but still just that stigma from the older generations, I think that's preventing people from obviously expressing themselves as well. A lot less Generation Z, but I think there is still that as well.
Yeah. How do you see it changing in the future?
I think it would definitely change. Like I wrote an article the other day about like how femininity is changing, like masculine identity within fashion. And you look at designers like Charles Jeffrey Loverboy, Tom Brown. They literally their seasonal collections and their runway shows, they have men wearing skirts and dresses. So, but I guess that's always been part of the fashion industry, though. You've always seen that flamboyancy. But I think definitely over time there will be less of like gender, like a gender scripts that people have to adhere to. Like if you look at James Charles' TikTok for Christmas, they were like all wearing dresses. So you know what I mean? Like people will see that
Oh
and
yeah.
think, obviously it's not normalized, but a lot more people will see that as like change within society.
Yeah, yeah. We were on another podcast recently and we were talking about Harry Styles on the cover of Vogue wearing a dress and all the controversy that that kind of created. Uh, but it's interesting to see that it's very much, in my opinion, only in like fashion, only in entertainment, and very much the music industry.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
as much as we see it, like I loved seeing like all of Tom Brown's like newest collection and stuff like that, and seeing that all over social media and people saying like, oh, we're seeing more of gender fluidity. But as much as I think it's more normalized for women to wear men's clothing, for example, it's not so much the other way around.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't know, like even in New York, like I would expect to kind of see more of that. And right now the city's kind of empty due to the pandemic and everything, and it's the winter.
Are the
But
streets empty?
it's really empty. Like
Really?
no one is here right now. Like I was just like walking around and it's like Saturday and there's like barely anyone around. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see like what it's going to take to make that more normalized. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if it's maybe going to be the younger generation, like not our generation, but the generation below us, to kind of bring it into, because one thing where I see like once you know it's kind of like translated down is when you can see like school children adopting like things of that sort. And so I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know any like kids who have gone about that, like, but I don't know. Do you think it's different in the UK?
I think like the school I go to is like, and where I'm from, it's very conservative. And like I go to a sixth form, so we are all expected to wear suits. Even though I'm not the most creative, I come across as the most creative within my school because I wear like colourful sort of suits and blazers, and everyone else sticks to more like greys and blues. And I think that's because like a lot of people just want to fit in and like stick to that sort of like masculine, the stereotypes surrounding it, and like wearing colours is seen as feminine. um Definitely when like the average suit is like grey or black or or navy blue. So I honestly don't really see it. I've got a couple of friends who are very like creative and like do like, I don't know, like flame nail varnish, but they're not in my area. But I don't know like what the school kids are like over there. I don't know if they're more like if they're expressing themselves more. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think one thing that's always interesting is that with American culture, I feel like people are more open to talk about like topics like these, and more open to talk about like things like these, and like talk about how they can push the boundaries, or those conversations that happen there in like your age demographic.
Definitely in my age, yeah, definitely in my age demographic, we talk about pushing boundaries and everything like that. But I think, as you were saying about like the UK, it's like the older generations. They're, I think, less, like definitely less open to talk about it. Like, like I'm wearing pearls right now, but I would never go to my grand's, I don't think, wearing pearls because she would see that as like a very feminine thing. That's what she used to wear. So why? I think it'd be very weird for her to see a boy wearing it. But like with Harry Styles and like our generation, this is normal. But obviously, it's still more feminine, considered feminine. Like you're not going to get every football player wear a pearl necklace, but it's more accepted within our generation. The old generations, definitely within the UK. No, I don't know about America, but yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. I saw a TikTok yesterday that was making fun of how everyone always says that Harry Styles is like a super fashion icon. And then they were showing a paparazzi photo of him with Olivia Wilde. And they were zooming in on his outfit, and like his socks don't match. He has like a piece of paper taped to his shirt. Like it's, and they were like fashion icons seen here.
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
he is idolized a lot, like
Yeah, just for
quite a
being
bit.
like femme.
Yeah, and I think it's
Yeah.
also like I'm actually interested to hear your opinion on this as well. Like, why do you think Harry Styles is so popular?
Out of One Direction, he's definitely the most like open with like his sexuality. and like how he expresses himself. Like I don't know the other names of the people other than Zayn, but I know that he's
Zayn's the only important one. Okay.
Yeah, the rest of them are relevant.
But like I can't imagine them wearing what Harry wears, and I think that's what sets him apart. And as well, obviously his music is very good. And like he has been on Vogue, he's done all of this stuff. So
I always think it's interesting. I think he did such a good transition going from like boy band member to becoming a solo artist, and then also kind of being known for his fashion.
Definitely.
I think it's interesting how in the past couple of years, even like beauty standards for women, for example, very much lean towards the Kardashians and being really curvy, and like that's why you saw like the rise in Botox and having like a Brazilian butt lift and like all of that. And I think we don't reflect as much on guys' beauty standards. And I think it's interesting how like exactly what you're saying, like before, I think it would have been like, I remember when I was a teenager, Abercrombie and Fitch stores, like you would have like white ripped tan guys like standing outside of the stores, and like that's
I saw that the other day.
Right,
like a video on it.
That's what was seen as like the ultimate like attractive like guy at the time. And like the Justin Bieber haircut, that was a whole phase, you know. And so I feel like maybe this is a new, I don't want to say a beauty standard, but new standard of attractiveness for guys.
I've like noticed like with what you were saying, I think there's been like a because I'm on like my feed on TikTok is definitely fashion and beauty, and I've seen like a lot of catwalks recently about like the fashion shows from Chanel in the 90s. So I understand what you mean there. Like there's a lot of focus on like the chains from the 90s, like the body types, but then at the same time as well, like I've been seeing a lot more fashion shows with like Versace, for instance. They had like a plus size model on there, like walking in her runway. So there's definitely a change. Like not everything is like Victoria's Secret anymore, like how it used to be a couple of years ago, I guess. But like I saw recently as well, which I thought was actually really cool. Gucci had this Down syndrome model, and I just thought like having that diversity and like more acceptance, I think that is really cool. So yeah, hopefully more brands do that.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that was only a couple of years ago, right?
Well, the Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, like the fact that that was like such a big thing, and like the show was such a big thing, and now they're like completely on the outs. At least culturally.
The shade.
So then do you think items in fashion or beauty should be gendered, like deemed as, oh, this is a women's line or this is a men's line?
No. Like I understand like due to like sizes and everything why you need women's clothes, why you need men's clothes. Like I look at unisex brands now and I think, but if that's a large for me, will that be, I mean, if that's a large for a girl, will that be like a small for me? So that confuses me. And I understand like why brands are gendered, but then at the same time I think the styles, the colors, that they don't have a gender, so they shouldn't be portrayed as having a gender. But I understand why there's different lines for boys and girls, but I think the styles and like the outfits, that shouldn't be gendered, definitely not.
What about beauty lines? Like when I was doing a little bit of research before this podcast episode, I was looking at the fact that there's a difference between like men's and women's like skincare and stuff like that, even though I feel like aesthetically like the packaging just looks different, but I'm sure they're all like very similar ingredients.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've been sent, like I've bought like products from Too Faced in the past, and then I've recently been sent products for like, I've got one right here, and honestly I would never go into a shop and buy it because I just don't like the packaging, but that's a men's foundation, and it's like,
oh,
yeah, so it's a foundation, and I wouldn't go into a store and buy that. This is like a men's makeup brand that targets for men. It's called For Men, but I would never go into a shop and buy that because in the past I have previously bought like Too Faced, so I'm not like adverse to just like sticking to, because I'm a boy I should wear men's products. And I feel like brands definitely should be promoting more gender neutral makeup. And like I was thinking about it because I would love to have my own business when I'm older, and even if I like the main industry I want to go into is obviously fashion, but I think if like money there was, if I had Kylie Jenner's money right now, I'd honestly make a beauty brand, but I wouldn't have it so it's just female or male. I'd try and find a niche and like how I can make it unisex, because I think boys won't want to go into Too Faced into the Too Faced stores and see like loads of sweet peach packaging. um, or like I can't remember the other, like the chocolate bar palettes. Like, I don't think they'll want that, but I know girls probably wouldn't want that. So like how can brands make it gender neutral, like mirrored packaging, clear packaging? Because I know a lot more boys would want to do that. Like I liked Dior's makeup line, the Backstage line, because that didn't, I looked at that and I didn't see a gender. However, I looked at the campaigns and there was no men. I don't think it was just Bella Hadid. So again, that's putting men off wanting to buy it because they're only seeing women being promoted in the campaigns.
How do you think gender and beauty has different implications within the UK versus the US? One thing I can think of is that whole trend that was like chav check.
Oh God, that is major difference. Okay, yeah, there's a major difference.
But also, I think in the US there are people that do dress like that as well.
Yeah, like New Jersey, Jersey Shore. Yeah,
it's actually a thing. Like people dress like the British chav, the epitome of the British chav.
Well, yeah, because they get like super fake tans and like their skin
massive
is
blocked
like
eyebrows.
Yeah.
Alongside the way people dress is like it influences the way people talk and like the way they do their makeup, like their beliefs and everything. And honestly, like 10 minutes down the road from me, it's completely different. Like what you're just talking about, like do you say Jersey Shore, Geordie Shore?
Yeah,
Jersey Shore. Yeah, like
but
10 minutes from me,
Geordie Shore
it's like
is.
that. Oh God, Geordie Shore, that's something else. But yeah, like 10 minutes from me, it is that like standard of like the chav. But where I'm from, there's not that. So it is crazy like how quickly, like it's not, I mean, like not that far away, there's that massive change in how people will dress.
So then I know previously you mentioned to me on Instagram that you had written that paper related to fashion and transparency supply chain. So could you speak a bit about that?
So I wrote it on how our consumer society is exploiting the garment workers from developing countries who obviously are exploited for hours and hours a day to make clothes for like fast fashion and everything like that, and how we can work as a collective to overcome modern day slavery within the supply chains. So I literally wrote, I think it was 42 pages all on that alongside my A-levels. But yeah, it was very interesting, and I got to interview people. I interviewed the Baroness of Hornsey about like why she thinks like they are like a negative thing, like the garment factories, and like why we should abolish them. And I wanted to have like an alternative opinion. And I interviewed Tim Woolstall, who's an economic journalist, and he's written for like Forbes and the New York Times. And obviously, because he's an economic journalist, he was looking at the garment factories as more of like an economic thing, like why we need them to support the global economy. So yeah, it was interesting to see the two different perspectives on fast fashion and like the negatives, but also the positives. In the end, obviously, I concluded that they aren't a good thing. But just like the facts I found out and the stuff I read about, for instance, like obviously these garment workers, they can't leave their stations when they're there for the whole day. And there was this woman who was pregnant and she had to give birth whilst making the clothes. And I shouldn't laugh, but like it's something so crazy that we in our society we wouldn't think about. And it's shocking. And like, it's honestly shocking as well. Children as young as 4 have been seen making clothes, and they'll work 14 to 16 hours per day minimum. And obviously they can work all the way throughout the night as well. And we just take for granted so much about fast fashion. We can go into Primark. Please tell me you know what Primark is. Do you know what?
Yeah.
They actually have one in the US. They have one in Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, wow. But you're going to Primark and you can buy t-shirts there for £2. I don't know how much that'd be in dollars, but that's very cheap, £2. And we would just take that for granted. And it's honestly, it was really shocking, and it really opened my eyes to fast fashion. So I'm glad I wrote about it, and it's something I can talk about in my interview at uni.
Yeah. So how did it change how you consume fashion?
It's made me realize that the amount that we consume we like, it's so unnecessary. I think on average, I think in like American dollars, it was like 160 on average. People spend $160 a month on clothes on average. And it's like, and like a majority of that was fast fashion. So if that's fast fashion, at the clothes, I don't know, like $5 a t-shirt, like that's so many clothes that you just don't need at the end of the day. And so I've definitely cut down on the amount of t-shirts I buy. And like I've definitely been more aware of like where they're made from, more like ethical fashion brands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So I've seen on your blog you have similar content as well, and it's a lot very like looking at fashion with a socially conscious lens. So how
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go about choosing what to write about and when to publish and things like that.
I made my blog as a uni portfolio. So I had it in mind of like what I could write about that sounds academic to an extent, like talking about like socially and environmentally conscious fashion, like the fair trade, sustainability in the fashion industry, ethical fashion. Obviously, I've written other stuff as well about like trends, but I wanted to focus on that. Yeah, so my creative process is literally, obviously I try and cater it to, I know what people will want to read about, such as like the fashion trends at the minute. And obviously my blog is a menswear blog. I don't write about women's fashion. um but yeah, so I try and cater it to what people will actually want to read. But because I made it for a uni portfolio, I also have wanted to write articles that are academic to an extent. But yeah, and like I because about like how consistent I write on my blog, it definitely needs to be more consistent. Like I understand that, but having the responsibility of head boy and like writing this newspaper as well alongside it, plus TikTok, plus revising, it was honestly so much. But yeah, I wrote an article the other day about the Gucci times North Face collaboration, and obviously that's on trend at the minute, so that's going to obviously cater towards like a large mainstream audience. But like stuff about sustainability, I think people who are interested in that will read it, but I think a lot of people obviously aren't interested in it at the end of the day. They're still going out there buying fast fashion and from Shein. I'm proud to say I've never bought anything from Shein. So
Yeah. Well, one other question that I was wondering is, what is your audience on TikTok?
I was actually looking at my analytics the other day. I think that's what you call them, and I have a lot more females watching my content. And I posted this video the other day. It was a white aesthetic video, and I think it was 40 to 50% of the viewers were from Russia,
Oh my
which
gosh.
was quite interesting because normally they're from America and England, and then like 1, 2, 3% are from like Italy or France. But yeah, that was really interesting to see how just one video, so many people from Ukraine, Russia, and Poland were the main viewers.
Wow.
And it had like 200 to 300,000 viewers. So that's thousands of people from Russia viewing that. And if you looked at all the comments, it's literally just all in Russian. So I've got no clue what they're saying. Like it could be hate, it could be really positive stuff, but like I don't know what they're saying. But yeah, I thought that was really cool though. So got a little audience in Russia. But yeah.
Yeah, so funny.
Yeah.
How about your blog? Like who's the demographic for the audience there?
You can't actually see that on my like, analytics there, but I can see like how many people view it a month, a week. Like I don't post for it as regularly as I can, so it's not, and like the numbers aren't as huge as my TikTok. I remember when I first posted my first ever blog, which was, oh god, it was, yeah, this time last year. In the very first day, I had 2,500 people see it, but obviously over time, it's not as consistent, it's gone down. But then when I do post, like a lot of people do read them. Like I think like 800 every time, and like that is still a lot for a blog because I'm not expecting everyone to go to go and type in zakheath.com. But like, so that is still a lot, and like I'm really like glad that people want to read that. But I think that's why I want to focus more on TikTok. It's because like I know a lot, my content can reach a huge amount of people, and I know my blog, it's more like the people who just follow me on my Snapchat and my Instagram, they will only get notifications I've posted once I've like put it on those platforms. And obviously with Instagram, only the people who follow you will see your stuff. But I think with TikTok, obviously you can see a huge amount of people from wherever and follow them, which I think is amazing because you can grow your platform so much quicker and easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, one last question we like to ask all of our guests is, what is your favorite statement piece, fashion or beauty wise?
My favorite like fashion, like what I wear.
Yeah.
Oh god. I do you know what? I've never thought about this. That's a very good question. Actually thinking about it, it's not my favorite thing, but my like the stuff that I will always wear is like a black turtleneck. I guess that's like my statement. Or it doesn't have to be black, but just a turtleneck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my statement. And I love a good pair of shoes and bags, but I don't have a specific particular one. But yeah, my probably statement piece is a turtleneck.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What's
Cool.
yours?
Well, right now I think it's this jacket. I bought it at like a flea market. I really like big, kind of unexpected accessories, big earrings. Like I bought these earrings that have rubber ducks on them, and I really like them. Yeah, so I think just like things that are kind of unexpected, I like to have. Okay, well,
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Glad you chose me to be on this podcast.
Yeah,